Hi Stampers, first off we're going to need a piece of basic black cardstock, and this piece here measures 12 by 8 centimeters, and I'm just going to stick this down using some temporary adhesive to my grid paper. Got my embossing buddy here because we're going to do some heat embossing, and I'm just generously embossing over the top of this, or rubbing this right across my black cardstock. We're going to be using our hardwood stamp set today, and I've already previously mounted this to my clear mount block, and I've gone here with my Bosa Marquee and I'm generously inking this up. I want to make sure it's got a nice good covering because I want this image to cover the whole piece of my black cardstock. So once you're happy with that, and oops, that wasn't supposed to happen, so I'm just going to put that back onto my grid paper. We're then just going to line this up evenly as much as we can and push down really hard, making sure that that image is firmly down onto our cardstock. And so you can see what that looks like there. So I'm just going to lift this up here using a piecing tool just to get that off my grid paper, and I'm bringing in here some clear embossing powder, and we're going to emboss this whole piece here. So make sure that you keep your fingers away from the edge because we don't want to have our fingerprints on this project just here, and just turn that over and generously put the powder onto the project there. Then I'm just going to set that aside there, and I'm bringing in my heat gun here. Because the heat gun does get quite hot, I am holding it down using a paper piecing tool, so it's best to hold it so that it doesn't burn your fingers and that you can keep it away, and also keep your project down so it doesn't blow away. Now the one thing with heat embossing is you'll notice that as the powder does heat up, it will melt, and as this is clear, you can see that it's coming out as in a clear emboss look. So this is how we can tell whether or not it's actually been heated correctly. So keep doing that until our whole piece of cardstock has been embossed. So once that's done, you'll be able to see here what that looks like. Now I'm using the Hello You Thinlit dies, and I am going to be cutting those out using my Big Shot machine here. So I've got my magnetic platform, and I've got some scrap piece of gold paper. I'm using some baking paper in between that before putting my last plate on top and running that through my Big Shot. That's just so that my image then, my gridding actually comes out in one piece and doesn't get stuck into the die. Now I'm gluing this down using our fine tip glue pen, which you can find in our current occasions catalogue. I really love this glue pen. It's got this really nice fine tip on it that's great for getting into these really small and tiny spaces. Now if you don't have the fine tip glue pen available, you can always use the multi-purpose liquid glue. That would do just as good of a job, but in this case I'm using the fine tip pen right now. So I'm just going to stick that down, and once that's done you can see what that looks like here. Now I'm just going to turn this over, and I'm going to add some fast fuse adhesive onto the back of this, and then we're going to stick this down onto our note cards and envelopes. And I've got here a piece of my crumb cake from the note cards and envelope pack, and then leaving that with equal borders around the outside. Now I've also gone ahead and cut this out into other designs from the Hello You Thinlit dies, and I've got the Hello out of Old Olive and the Happy using Lost Lagoon cardstock, and I've also decorated the envelope using the hardwood stamp set just on the envelope flap there with some basic black classic ink. Thank you for watching.